Hi, I am Dr. Isara Anantawarasin. Welcome to the third session of Object-Oriented Analysis and Design. In this session, we will discuss about the requirement elicitation process. That is the steps to collect requirements. And we will discuss how to keep track of those requirements later in the course. I'm sure by now you are familiar with this diagram, right? This is the software development process or software development life cycle or SDLC, all right? The requirements elicitation process is one of the steps that you do in the requirement analysis phase, right? Where you collect requirements, you gather them, you store them, okay, and then you record them somehow so that these requirements can be used later in the design and implementation phases, all right? But in order to discuss the requirement analysis, we have to go back to the beginning, the planning. The planning phase. What you are doing in this phase is to establish product scope, vision, and business case. To elaborate the phase that we discussed earlier, all right, in the planning phase, what you are doing is that you are trying to establish whether this project makes sense to develop or not, makes sense to go on or not. Okay, it is a very short step to establish common vision and basic scope for the project. Sometimes we call this inception phase. All right, it's just the beginning. Okay, we have an idea. What about the idea? Okay, can we elaborate a little bit and then see that it is interesting? We ask around. Okay, how about the other stakeholders? Are they interested in this? And should we go on or not? Okay, and to be precise, in this phase, you are trying to answer these questions. What is the vision and business case for this project? So basically, what are we going to do? Can we make money off that? It is feasible. So it is worth investing time and money into the project. Would it bring enough income or return later? And to answer some of this, to answer the feasibility question, you might need to answer some other questions as well. For example, buy or build. Should we buy the product or should we build one? Buying the product, what does it mean? Just to buy off-the-shelf solution, right? You have the problem, you have the idea, and trust me, most of the time, the idea or the problem you have at hand, somebody have solutions for that. Okay, it is very, very rare that you're gonna need the product that really solve your problem. I mean, put it this way, it is very rare that you're gonna have that you have problems that require specific solution. All right, most of the problems have been solved. The question is, can the off-the-shelf solutions solve your problems the way you like it? That is that do they answer all the constraints, answer all the requirements, answer all your restrictions? All right, and if they do, okay, I would say go buy one. Usually it's cheaper. For example, if you are going to develop a system that can deliver this online email, okay, or online file storage like Dropbox, okay, you don't want to, and then okay, the requirement is that we need to share file with our colleagues, okay, and we don't want to use thumb drive and so on. How can we do that? The first thing is you just buy a NAS, all right, NAS. Okay, you can just buy a network storage, and then bam, you have to set it up. Okay, you buy it once, fine. Okay, you might need to invest maybe 20,000 baht, 30,000 baht for the device, but you don't have to pay anything more. But you also need to invest a little bit more time to set it up. But once it's there, it's there. Okay, that's to buy. You can also use service like Dropbox. Okay, and you calculate that. Okay, it solves a lot of problem. We need to pay monthly forever, but still cheap. Okay, so we can just select one of these. But what if you need to have some encryption? What if you need to have some protection further? Maybe you have some super large file, all right, and you want to share this large file outside of your company, all right, and maybe you want to protect some part of that. Maybe some of these constraints prevent you from using existing solution. You can't use Dropbox. Okay, you cannot use your NAS because it's going to be very difficult to be accessed from outside, for instance. All right, something like this. Then you might need to consider build the entire system yourself. You might need to set up your Linux system, all right, and then you're gonna set up your storage and everything. You might need to develop some program to manage the device as well. Okay, and this is the example. Some problems like in our university, okay, we have this registration office. There are a lot of student management, class management, teacher management software in the market right now. Okay, none of them solve our problems, and this is quite clear to us that we need to develop one ourselves. Okay, so this is the question of buy or build. Now, whether you are going to buy or build, you might need to also consider how much does it cost. Okay. Well, in this planning or inception phase, you don't have to be specific. How much does it cost? You just have to get some area, some ranges. Okay. Does it cost 100,000 baht? Does it cost 500,000 baht? Does it cost $1 million? Does it cost 5 million baht? Something like this. Okay, if the project is super large, so you just have some ballpark to play around. Okay, if it is 100,000 baht, can we pay that? Can we afford that? Can we pay for it? If it goes to around 1 million, okay, can we pay for it? Okay, for example, if it costs like 1 million. Okay, that's we need to invest something. Okay, 1 million and maybe roughly 6 to 8 months to develop. How can we make it work? Okay, does it worth the investment? Okay, does the project gonna gain income or benefit down the road also, and so on. All right. Once you have this answer, then you decide whether you should proceed further or you stop right here. Now the question is, I think the most important question is this. Okay. This question. Okay. See, buy or build is quite easy. Okay, you have you kind of list your idea. You have like maybe 5 or 10 points. This is the product we're gonna do. Okay, this is the project we're gonna we are going to that we are interested in. Okay, and then you can look around. Maybe you can Google around for like 1 or 2 weeks, seeing that okay, we can just buy one. Right, there are something we could do, we could use, or we can't. We just go. You're gonna build one. And then later on, you're gonna find out whether you're gonna buy, gonna build, how much. Okay, buying one is quite easy. If you find a product that is suitable for your need, you can just ask for price. Okay, once the once you get the price, okay, then you know how much it costs. But to build one, it's gonna be very difficult. Okay, to get the price unless you invest in the requirement analysis. All right, if you're not really invest on the requirements, then it can be very hard to know precisely what you like to do. Okay, and therefore very hard to predict the effort. So what we can do is that we can maybe ask the expert. Okay, you pay them a little bit, or maybe you can ask your friends who have experience in this. Okay, dude, we have this set of requirements. How much do you think it's gonna cost? And then maybe and then they're gonna compare with existing projects or the previous projects that they have done before, and then give you some rough number. Okay, this is what I do all the time. When any customer come asking, okay, we have this idea, how much does it cost? And I was like, okay, you're gonna need this component, this component, this component. I haven't done that before, but I think it should be comparable to one of those projects that we have done, and that's going to cost you 2 million, maybe around 6 to 12 months of developed, something like this. Okay, and that's how you're going to get these ranges and so on. Now, once you have this, you see whether it's feasible. If it is feasible, then you proceed. If it is not, okay, doesn't worth investing more, then you stop. Okay, Apart from this, before I forget, apart from this, you might want to check whether the idea actually good. Okay, for example, you might have some idea saying that, okay, we would like to have this app that does this. This is gonna be awesome idea. Fine, but have you asked other people? All right, maybe just you and your friend. All right, you share your same pain point, but these pain points might not be shared by others. So I think it is always advisable that in the initiation phase you ask around also. Okay, see the reaction of other people. Maybe they can say, okay, it's a good idea. Maybe they can say, you know what, this is a very bad one. Maybe there exists some other products that's comparable to you and they are not doing very well, or they are super well established. It can be very hard to compete. Or maybe they kind of like the idea, but you need to refine some aspects of your project as well. Okay, and that's the key idea of the planning phase. As mentioned earlier, during the planning phase, you have to establish the product scope, vision, and business case. And all these 3 points will be recorded in what we call um, System Vision Document, or SVD. All right. And after all stakeholders agreed on the concept of the project, okay, or the vision of the project, and deem that, okay, this project is worth investing further, then you are moving on to the next step. Let us discuss stakeholders. Software project stakeholders are individuals or entities who have interest in an outcome of the software project. They play an important role in the influencing the project objectives, scopes, requirements, and overall success, because they want the project to success. Stakeholders can come from both internal and external sources, and I also put executive source here as well. And their involvement can vary at different stages of the project. So let's start with the external stakeholders. External stakeholders are the individuals or people, okay, who are not in your organization. And this includes the client or customers, the end users, the regulatory authorities, suppliers, and vendors. Client or customers are individuals or organizations that have requested the development team to develop the software, right? They are primary beneficiaries of the project outcomes and are usually responsible for funding the project. End users. Obviously, end users are those who will be using the software once it is deployed. Understanding their needs and preferences is crucial to delivering a product that meets their requirements and provides positive user experience. Next one is the regulatory authorities. In some cases, software projects must conform or adhere to specific industry or government regulations. There could be some laws or rules that dictate how the software should behave. Regulatory authorities ensure that the software meets the required standards and complies to those laws and regulations. But I like to emphasize here a little bit about these regulatory authorities. See, software, okay, it has to conform a lot of laws. For example, PDPA, all right, Personal Data Protection Act. So you need to keep track of your user data or people's data, all right, in a way that is secured and can be traced and can be controlled. Which, because you know, the users or the person you're involved with, if they have their data stored in your database, they are allowed to say that, okay, I give permission to this kind of data and where this data go to, and my data has to be safe, and then I can revoke the rights that I gave the operator. Okay, that okay, you used to be able to use my data, but I don't want to do it anymore. This kind of thing has to be put into the system requirements that okay, the system must conform PDPA as well. But the the authorities, okay, that is responsible for this PDPA Act, they are not your stakeholders. Okay, they wrote some laws, they introduced some regulations, but they're not using the system. Okay, these regulatory authorities are the ones that actually use the system. I mean, that depends on how you define it, but this is the way I define it, right? Because if they are coming and then request some reports and request some security logs, okay, if there's something wrong, they want to see some traces, then they are your stakeholders because they are involved in the system somehow. Next one is the suppliers or vendors. These are external suppliers or vendors that may sell some libraries to you, may sell some service to you, maybe provide some hardware or software licenses, okay, that are essential to your project. If your project is a success, they can also earn from the project too because they provide services or products for you to use in your product. Okay, so they want your project to be a success. Another one is the internal stakeholders. These are the ones who work within the development team. Okay, so let's start with the development team itself. The dev team consists of software engineers, programmers, designers, testers, and other professionals who are directly involved in building the software. Okay, obviously they want the project to success. Next one is the business and system analyst. Let's start with the first one, business analyst. Business analysts helped identify and document the requirements of the software project by understanding the needs of the external stakeholders, your clients, your end users, regulatory authorities as well. Okay, and then translating these requirements into functional specifications. They focus mainly on understanding the business side, okay, business processes, business objectives of an organization to identify the problems and opportunity for improving their work or business flow or business logic, and recommend the solutions to the customer and users. Business analysts have a strong understanding of business operations, workflows, and the industry's best practices. So basically, business analysts are more on the business side, more on the client side. They need to understand their clients, they need to understand the customer, they need to understand the end user, and they need to understand the business as a whole. On the other hand, system analysts focus mainly on understanding the technical aspect of the system, including software, hardware, processes, and design and implement and also to implement the effective system for your customers. They have a strong background in computer science, software engineering, IT systems, for instance. They are skilled in analyzing, designing, and implementing IT solutions to meet the business requirements. So they are focusing on the solution, the design, okay, the software design part, whereby the business analysts focus more on the problem or the business side. Next is project manager. Project manager is responsible for planning, executing, monitoring the software project. Okay, they act as a bridge between stakeholders, team members, and ensuring that the project stays on track and meets objective, and of course in budget as well. And the last one is the quality assurance or the testing team. Okay, these personnel, okay, this QA and testing team are responsible for ensuring the software's quality by performing testing and validation to identify and fix bugs or any issues before the deployment. so they are basically testing your software before you actually deploy, so that the software pass all the requirements. Okay, the UI is good, the UX is good, and there are no bugs. And well, that is difficult, but you know what I mean. Large software project, okay, with a lot of functionalities might require such a team. Okay, this is to make sure that the product quality is high enough to be deployed. And some products are really, really mission critical. Like if you work in a hospital, all right, if the product it will be employed in a hospital, if the product will be employed in a bank, all right, some serious system like this, you cannot have bugs. Or if you have bugs, gonna be the one that really, really, really hard to find in the first place. And in this case, you're going to need some QA and testing team to make sure that whatever the dev team are doing, we have to check it first. All right. Well, but I have to emphasize here that this is not required or even advised to have in all software projects because they are costly. All right. And this team could be an dedicated team, so you need to hire people to actually test your product, right? And that depends on the size of the project and of course the size of the software house as well, whether they can afford such team. But again, some projects like hospitals, banking, all right, or even line. I'm sure that line man, when they want to check whether the pricing is correct, okay, the product ordering is correct, then they're gonna need the team as well. And these guys are rich, so they can afford a team anyway. And lastly, the executives. Well, I have these three guys, all right, written together. Okay, these guys are higher level. Let's just talk about the management first. These guys are higher level management, not to manage. They don't manage just one or two projects like the project manager. Okay, these guys are executives and senior management, all right, that are interested in the project's progress and outcomes. Okay, and they can also impact the project and organization's overall success. So these two guys, all right, executives and management, are managers of the software developers team. Okay, they want to make sure that everything goes as planned. But well, not really. I mean, sometimes the executive of your client or customers, because they are the one that pay for the product, okay, they could be interested in the success of the project too. The other one is the project sponsor. Project sponsor is a senior level individual or even entity. It could be an organization, another company, all right, that basically sponsor the project. So they provide financial support for the project. And because they pay, they sponsor something, okay, could be in kind of in cash. They want the project to be a success, okay. And they could sponsor in two sides. They could they could be a joint venture, they could be the angel partner, all right, that pay for the customer to pay you. Or if you are developing your own solutions to be used within your organization, or you want to provide service or solutions to other companies, it could be your own products, okay, and you're asking project sponsor to sponsor your project, then of course they are interested in the success of the project as well. Let's have a look at the SVD, System Vision Document, what it is and what it contains. The SVD is a high-level document that outlines the vision, objectives, and scope of the software project. It serves as the fundamental or the foundation guide to align all stakeholders, including the business side and development team, on the project goals and direction. So it kind of explains what the system should do, what is our end game, right? So the purpose of SVD is to provide the clear and concise overview of the project and help capturing what the software system aims to achieve, so you don't get lost. The SVD, all right, can, in other words, act as the reference point throughout the software development process, ensuring that all stakeholders are on the same page, okay, regarding the objectives and the scope and the goal of the project. And as the project progresses, more detailed documents such as the requirement application, design documents, or other incorporating documents can be added later on the over the foundation of SVD, right? So on the right hand side here, we have the examples of the SVD. The SVD usually starts with, of course, the project name. Okay, what are you going to do? The date of the documentation. All right, and then we have the introduction, system overview, vision, objectives. We have several more sections, and let's have a look at each section and let's see what they say. The first section is the introduction. The introduction provides a brief intro to the document explaining the purpose of document and context of the software project. In this example, okay, the purpose of system vision document is to provide a overview of the vision, objectives, scope of the new outline shopping platform. Okay, hold on, let me just pull up my pen. Wait a second. All right, so we have this online shopping platform. All right, this document serves as the high-level guideline to align stakeholders and development team members on the goals and direction of the project. So it's kind of short paragraph saying what this SVD is about. Okay, well, next one, system overview. System overview describes what the system does and what kind of problem the system is intended to solve. For example, we are going to develop the online shopping platform, right? So online shopping platform is a web-based software system that connects the customer and various merchants to enable them to browse and purchase products. It will be designed to provide a seamless and user-friendly shopping experience. The system will allow customers to explore a wide range of products, add them into the cart. Okay, make sure that payments, make a secure payments, and track their orders. The platform will serve as a centralized marketplace, bringing together the merchant and customer to facilitate the online transactions. So we have few things here. First, we have the online shopping platform that is quite clear, and we have the customer, okay, and many merchants. All right, so we can establish that we are not going to sell things. We're gonna be a market, okay, like Lazada or Shopee, right? So, and then what we're gonna do is that this is blah blah blah. Not more important. The customer can add product to carts, make payments, and so on, right? And this is the part. Hold on. Right here, this is the part where you say add product to carts, make payment, and track the orders. These are the most important features. Okay, this is what the system is doing. Okay, and it serves as the centralized marketplace. Okay, so just one paragraph saying the overview of the system. So and everybody that just read this paragraph have an idea what you are trying to achieve. Next is the vision, right? In this new online shopping platform will revolutionize the way people shop by offering convenient, secure, enjoyable online shopping experience. It aims to connect customer with a diverse selection of products from different merchants, providing them with access to a variety of choices and ensuring customer satisfaction. See, here the vision defines the long-term goal and the design of end state of software system. It kind of explain that, okay, this is what the system is gonna be in the long run. Okay, and next thing is the objectives. The objectives outlines the specific measurable goals of the projects. Okay, this objective should be aligned with the project vision and serve as clear target of for the development team. What it means is you need to have some specific key points. Okay, if we can achieve 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points here, then we can say that our project is a success, or we have delivered the product, okay, or we have achieved the milestone, okay. Example: the key objectives of the software system are provide user-friendly and intuitive website for customer to browse and purchase products. So we have a website, okay, and the customer can browse and purchase products. Enable seamless integration and management of product for various merchants. So basically, the merchants can manage their products, okay, to ensure secure and reliable payment processing for the customer transaction. So you need to have reliable payment. Provide efficient order management to track and tracking features for customers. So you have to have a way such that the customer can track the order. What have I purchased? How much have I paid? Have the order been delivered, and has it is arrived? Okay, and to establish strong trust online shopping community that foster positive customer experiences. So basically, well, these are pretty much functionalities, right? But this one is a little bit more interesting because it just, because if we can do this and the customer trusts us, this is also our objective. We need to make sure that our service is going to be reliable, easy to use, right? And trustworthy. Next one is the business benefit. Business benefit points out the values or benefit of the project, okay, for all stakeholders. But in fact, okay, this business benefit aims mainly for the clients or customer or project sponsor. So basically, whoever paid for the project. That is, their business benefit section try to answer that if we invest on this project, what do we get in return? Let's have a look at this. The software system will bring significant benefits to business, including increased revenue. Okay, by offering user-friendly online shopping platform, the business can attract more customers and facilitate increased sales and transactions. All right. So who wins here? Well, more customers, merchant wins, right? Merchant can sell more, but the market can also win, right? Because market gonna cut some commission out, so the more transactions, the more we earn. Expanded customer base. The platform's convenience and diverse product offering will attract new customers, expanding the business reach and market presence. Right? Okay. Our platform is convenience. We have a lot of products to offer, and therefore the customer like it. Very good. Good for customer, but we also expand our business reach and presence too. So we have gained more foothold in the market. So the market wins. Improve customer satisfaction. The seamless shopping experience, secure payment processing, and efficient order management will enhance customer satisfaction, leading to a higher customer retention and positive word of mouth. All right. So we have seamless shopping experience. We have the secure payment processing. Okay. Really easy shopping, secure payment, efficient order management that enhance the customer satisfaction. The customer satisfy. All right. Right here. The customer wins. And of course, indirectly, the merchant wins because they sell more, and even more indirectly, the market wins because more transaction, more customer retention, positive word of mouth. The customer gonna come in, the older customers stay in the market, and the merchant sell more. We also gain more from commission or whatever fee we have. Now, enhanced market relationship by providing platform for merchants, okay, to showcase and sell their products. The business can foster strong relationship with merchants, encouraging their continued participation and contribution to platform growth. So we provide easy way for the merchants to manage their orders and product and whatnot. All right. So merchant wins, their life is easier, but we win also because their life is easier. They tend to stick to our product, and therefore they will continue to sell through our platform. We are growing, right? So all in all, business benefit can, you can point out any benefit you like. Okay, for in this case, customer, merchant, okay, whoever that is your stakeholder list. Okay, whatever stakeholders, you can just put it there. But mainly when we talk about business benefit, we are talking about our business, the one because we invest on this. What do we gain? Okay, and that's very important because you want some return of investment, right? The next two sections are the target users. All right, this section identifies the primary users or stakeholders of the software system that we are building. It describes the intended audience and their needs, ensuring that the development team has a clear understanding of who the system is developed for, right? In this case, we have individual customers seeking to shop online for various products. All right, we have merchants or sellers looking to expand their platform reach and sell products through the platform. All right, see, here is our target users. Okay, so customer and merchant is quite clear. But I need to be, and I need to tell you a little bit more on this. This is just SVD, right? Just kind of overview documentation, maybe 1, 2, 3 pages. That should be enough. But when you design your software, when you want to be precise who are going to be your users, you need to have more. You need to think. You need to ponder a little bit more than this. For example, right here, our main targets are the customer and merchants, but they're not just the guy that use the system. You can have just ordinary user, all right, the logged in users, or the admin, okay, or the merchant, and then the merchant owner, the merchant, staff that can just see the order, cannot manage the financial aspect of the system, something like this. All right, you can have like 1,000 kind of users in reality, all right, but we are not talking about that there. But when you design your when you design your software, you have to think what kind of users, how many kinds of users do we have. But we're gonna discuss a little bit more on that when we digging deeper into requirement elicitation. All right. Next one is scope. Scope of the software project outlines the functionalities and features that will be included in the system. It defines the boundaries of the project, specifying what will be covered and what will not be covered during the initial release, all right? Or maybe the entire project. So basically what it says is, this is what we're going to do, and the thing that we are not including in this section, we are not going to do it, maybe at least for now. For example, all right, scope of software system includes the following aspects: user registration and authentication, product catalog management, product search and filtering, all right, shopping cart order management, the payment processing, okay, and order tracking and so on. All right, so this is basically the main functionalities that we would like to have, again, at least in the first release. All right, and the next section is the stakeholders. All right, you can just list what kind of stakeholders we have: customer, merchants, admin, all right, payment gateway providers, customer support, and so on. All right, you guys know what the key stakeholder are. We have discussed earlier, so we're gonna skip this part, right? But you just have to list them down as well. Up from this section, it is pretty much optional. What it means is, you don't need to write them down if you don't have to. The first is the constraint. The constraint of the project refers to any limitations or restriction that may impact the project. That could be the budget constraint, the time constraint, technical limitations, or compliance with specific standards or regulations or laws. For example, in here we have budget 5 million, okay, and time, you need to finish the first release within 12 months, okay, and it can be extended later, but we need to release within 12 months after the development, and it has to comply with legal and regulations or requirements regarding the e-commerce and data privacy, for instance. The next one is the assumptions. refers to the underlying belief or premises on which the project is based. They help to clarify expectations or uncertainties about the project's environment or context. For example, adequate resources and infrastructure will be available to support the platform development and operation. All right, merchants will comply all the platform policies and guidelines. User will have access to reliable internet connections and the compatible devices to access the platform. Trustworthy and reliable payment gateway is required. The payment gateway must also support all payment methods that are popular among the customers. Right. So it means that what all these things say is that everybody has to play by the book. Okay. Merchants knows what they are doing. Okay. And the customers also have adequate internet connection. Otherwise, it wouldn't work. And also very important is that we are relying on the payment gateway. Okay, they have to be reliable, they have to be trustworthy, and they have to provide all the payment methods that we gonna need. Risk. The risk sections identify the potential risks and challenges that may affect the successful execution of the project. It is essential to identify these risks early on to plan the mitigation strategies or how to avoid those risks or minimize the risks. Okay, for example, here that integration challenges with payment gateway and third-party systems. We need to make sure that payment gateway provide enough API, okay, and we can connect and make payment with them. Security vulnerabilities, okay. There could be some flaws or some exploits that could lead to data breaches and unauthorized access. We need to be aware of that. All right, and of course, competition from existing online shopping platforms and maybe the one that are gonna show up later when we release our system. Adapting to change of customer preferences and market trends. We need to be aware that customers change all the time and the trends change all the time, and our system must be able to handle that, or at least we need to keep this in mind that okay, if things change, we will have some plan B or plan C to handle all the these changes. And scalability issues. Okay, this one, when you develop a system that is gonna handle 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 people just like this one online shopping platform, scalability is important, right? It has to be able to increase to handle increasing user traffic and data volume, because the more user you have, the more data you have, and the more processing power and maybe space you're gonna need. Okay, but even though this has to be taken care of, all right, but I consider scaling a happy problem, because you gonna have the scalability issues when you have a lot of user base, which is a good thing. You just have to keep this in mind that you need to handle them too. The more you grow, the more difficult it is for you to conduct your business. And last one is the future enhancement. Okay, potential future works. All right, for example, integrating with the additional payment gateways and expanding payment options, implementing personalized recommendation and targeted marketing features. So you need to learn what your customer wants, all right, and then provide the products or kind of show the product that they offer, the product that they like. All right, introducing loyalty programs or reward to retain customers. Yeah, points and everything. Expanding platform to support international shipping in multiple currencies. All right, enhancing seller analytics and reporting capabilities, providing mobile applications on both customer and merchants. All right, these are the features that we would like to do in the future. But right now, we just focus on the core business, which is website, and to make sure that payments works, the ordering works, and the merchant shoplifting works. But as you can see here, we are doing something simple that you guys understand. Like online shopping platform, all these features have been already done by Lazada and Shopee. Right? If I were to, develop a new system, okay, and if one of my friends or my colleagues ask me, should we do online shopping platform, I would say, no, right? Because the existing solution are already very good. Lazada and Shopee, all right, they have invested a lot of money and time into this. Let's just come back to previous one, budget of 5 million Thai baht. This is impossible to compete with them, right? But it's just for example. Pro tip for you: effective planning. In this planning or inception phase, all right, it should be very, very brief and short. It should be done in just a few weeks, all right? You just need to establish common project vision, see if it is feasible and worth investigating further, right? You set your budget, you set your time, and you see whether these features benefit everybody, benefit you mostly, okay, and all your stakeholders or not. This means that you don't have to invest too much in detail, all right? You don't have to define all requirements. You don't have to produce reliable concrete plans. You don't have to produce detailed use case descriptions or list of users or whatnot, all right? Just have, 1 or 2, maybe 3 pages of document, and I think it should be suffice. Don't invest too much. You need to find, however, business case. So what it means is that you need to know what you are doing, what kind of problems you want to solve, what is your solution, all right, and then would it make you money, all right? So you invest on this. You might need to think about the upfront, okay, investment, or basically the development costs, and then operational costs, how to maintain, how to expand, okay, not just the system but also the operation. How can you provide customer support? How can you provide technical support, and so on? All right, your internet connection included, and you need to find most of the users and actors that your systems, okay, are going to serve, right? So basically, you might need to think about the use cases and the actors that are corresponding to the use cases, but you don't have to dig too deep and don't invest too much time. So we have discussed the first step, planning, right? Let us discuss this one, requirement analysis. Let's start with system requirements. Requirement editation, and requirements management are the 3 concepts that are very important in software engineering to make sure that the software system that you are developing is a success and it corresponds to what the user wants. All right, let's understand each of them separately. First, the requirements. The requirements refer to the design capabilities, functionalities, and also qualities that the software system must possess, okay, to meet the needs and the expectation of its user and stakeholders. These requirements serve as the foundation for the entire software development process, as they define what the system should do and how they should behave. And I have to emphasize that should do and behave. All right. We're gonna discuss a little bit more about that in the next few slides, right? The requirements can be classified into 2 main categories, all right? Functional requirements, what the system should do, or non-functional requirements, like performance, security, usability, all these qualities, okay, of the software. It is essential to elicit or to collect, document, and validate requirements accurately to ensure that the final software products correspond to the stakeholder expectation. Now, requirement elicitation. The elicitation is a process of gathering, identifying, and understanding the requirements of the software system. It involves interacting with stakeholders, the end users, your customer, and also the domain experts to capture the needs, expectation, constraints regarding the system. Okay, the goal of the requirement elicitation is to obtain comprehensive and accurate understanding of the problem and the features of the software system. So you need to understand what the system should do. Okay, why it does what it does. Okay, it should do this. We need to understand also why. And you need to consult a domain expert, the guy that know the problem, the guy that know the existing solutions. All right, to make sure that your software solution provide the best solution that you could provide to the customers. And once you have the requirements, you collect them, okay, you elicit them, you need to manage them. requirements management is a process of effectively managing and controlling requirements throughout the development lifecycle. It involves activities such as documenting requirements, tracking changes, prioritizing the requirements, and ensuring that they are delivered as part as a final product. Requirements management aim to ensure that requirements are complete, consistent, unambiguous, and verifiable. Okay, it also involves managing changes to requirements as the project progresses and the new information becomes available. And requirement management also helps tracing each requirement to its source, ensuring that the final software system addresses all the definable needs. See, what? Let me put it into layman terms. All right, if you see something like, say, the software should have this button. Okay, so let's say user erase button. The user can destroy its own account. Okay, remove account or something like this. It says somewhere in your document saying that we need this button, and you just say why. So you ask your friends, you ask your colleagues, hey, dude, why do we need this button? It doesn't make sense. Why would we need to discard or destroy our own account? It doesn't make sense. And the guy was like, I don't know. Let's ask a system analyst. The system analyst was like, yeah, I think I've heard somewhere that the user sometimes could erase the account in case they just want to invoke the right to access to data or whatever. But I'm not sure. Some guys in that meeting mentioned this. All right. So, and you need to understand that sometimes the software systems are so large, like really large systems that manage Lazada and Shopee. If you are if you are counting all features that they can do, all right, coupon system recommendation, all right, ordering tracking, something like this. It is super large, and there are gonna be some requirements that people just don't know where they come from, and this, okay, you need to make sure that every time you write anything down in your documentation, maybe in not in the lab and not for small projects, all right, but in the large ones, they need to be able to trace back that this feature come from this requirement from that guy in that meeting, or this requirement come from that requirement. This is part of that requirement, okay, and this is part of the other constraint we have, something like this. You need to make sure you always can any item in the requirement is traceable to where it's come from, right? And it is crucial, especially for large projects. Another thing is this: once the requirements are coming, all right, you need to make sure that okay, put it this way: new requirements show up all the time. Right? You have emergent requirements. You need requirement changes all the time. Sometimes they are removed. Sometimes they are changed. Sometimes they just newly introduced. Tracking all this can help you guide that. Okay, this feature, who asked for this? When does it ask? Should we release it now, or should we implement it the next release, and so on? All right. So you need to be able to keep track of this flux of requirements, especially when the project is large. All right. When this one is removed, this one is added, and when should we deliver them, and so on. Right. So requirement management is kind of a tedious and important task, especially when we are dealing with large projects. Anyway, in summary, requirements define what the software system should do, okay, how it should behave. You need to define the quality, right, the non-functional part of requirements. And the requirement elicitation involves the process of gathering and understanding these requirements from stakeholders, while requirement management ensures that the requirements are well documented, controlled, and aligned with project's objectives throughout the development lifecycle. We know that requirements can be categorized into functional and to non-functional requirements, right? But, well, we can do more. Okay, we can dig a little bit deeper. introducing FURPS plot. Okay, FURPS is an acronym used to categorize software requirements. Each letter of FURPS represents different categories of requirements. Let's start with the first one, F, functional or functionalities. Okay, functionality refers to the set of features and capabilities of the software. Right, it dictates what the software should do. Okay, in order to achieve the intended purpose of the software. And functional requirements are usually expressed in terms of specific actions or operation or the tasks the software should perform. For example, the system must allow the user to log in and create new accounts. Okay, or the system must be able to summarize the order. Okay, I mean the summarize the price of the entire order, or the system should be able to prevent, I don't know, or the user the system should be able to allow the user to erase their own product, something like this. Okay, now let's get to the next one. Usability. This is human factors features. Okay, usability are corresponding to the ease of use, user friendliness, and also including help or documentations. Okay, it focuses on ensuring that the system is intuitive, efficient, accessible to intended user, and also anything that the users that could help the user achieve their work. Okay, use the system better is included in the usability section as well. For example, user interface should be responsive and visually appealing to enhance the user experience. Okay, or in the user experience, you also include the help section. Okay, or maybe it is like it has embedded documentation in the UI somewhere. Next one is reliability. Okay, reliability refers to the software system ability to perform consistently and reliably under different conditions. Okay, they address factors such as system availability, fault tolerance, error handling. Reliability requirements ensure that the software system can operate without failures, even though we are not in the condition that are not normal. Okay, for example, if there are too many users, if there are some powers, the user spike, okay, a usage spike, the system can still handle it. Okay, it can expand or it can just spawn in themselves, something like this. Or if in case of power failure, the system or the drive failure, the system has the second drive that can just use, or a backup system that is always available, right? Performance focused on the system speed, responsiveness, and efficiencies. These performance requirements define the expected level of response time, throughput, and resource usage under different conditions. All right. For example, system should be able to process 1,000 concurrent users within 2 seconds. All right. Next one is the supportability. It refers to adaptability, maintainability, configurability, okay, extensibility. These requirements address aspects such as modularity, code maintenance, documentation, and compatibility with other systems. See, this is according to my experience, this is what the student usually confused with. Okay, supportability refers to the, I would say, maintenance and extension. Not that it supports Windows or Linux, no, okay, or does it support English language or pound sterling, not like that. It is you, okay? Can you support the system? How can you support the system? This is when there are new requirements, is this thing adaptive? Okay, when you need to have a new module plug in, okay, when you have a new payment gateway, can the system support all these new features or new stuff, the changes in the future? Okay. And the last one is the plus. We talk about FURPS plus, all right? Even more categories: implementation, platform, interface, licensing, law, regulation. You can add anything you like, all right? But these are the kind of the most important ones, the one that you should think about first. Now, let me show you this. Right? F is functional. The name suggests it's functional. What it means is that this is the functional requirements. All right, it's very important. The features, capabilities, securities, any feature that are functional, okay, they are functional requirements, and the rest, these are non-functional. Okay, because a lot of people ask me, all right, a lot of students ask me over the years, like, how can we distinguish between functional and non-functional requirements? Is this features, is this requirements or functionalities belong to functional or non-functional? Let me tell you this. When we talk about functionalities, okay, we talk about something that define what the system does. The system allow the user to log in. The system allow the user to create new account. The system allow the user to change product, to add item to product, to create, products, change picture. It is something that you don't have to argue with your customer. It can do this or it cannot. That's it. All right, quite simple. When you check this, okay, when the customer come and test your system, they have a checklist. Okay, the system can do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can the system can the user erase their account? And you can say yes or no. Yes, the user can do it by clicking here, here, here. It's done. Or if you cannot do it, and you just have no way to get around that. Okay, I'm sorry, these features have not been implemented yet. We're gonna add that thing later. Right? It is yes or no question. Can the system do this? Is it an action? Is it an activity? Is it operation of a system? But the rest here, this is non-functional, right? The rest here, usability, reliability, performance, supportabilities, all these things are something that define the quality of your software. The software works even though the UI is so bad. UX is bad, UI is bad, but it still works. It is not reliable when you have too many connections. When you reach like 1,000 people, okay, 1,000 concurrent connection, the system crashes. It is super slow, but it does work. Performance, response time as well. It takes like 5 minutes to compute something. It takes 5 seconds. It's too long, right? And maybe you require a lot of resources. The memory spikes, so you have memory spikes. Okay, the drive that you use are so wasteful, but still works. These are the things. Okay, these are the things that you need to argue with the customer. It is something that you could argue with the customer. The customer say this is too small, this is too large, this is too slow, this is too fast. And you're gonna be like, so what is too small? What is too low? What is too fast? All right. This is the quality of the work, non-functional. Supportability too. Is it adaptive enough? Can it handle new features? You said you don't know, man. Because if in the next few years the library is deprecated, you have new libraries, new system coming in, I can't say that I can support for like the next 5 years or 3 years. All right. So all this define the quality of your software, how well they perform. They are not yes no question anymore, right? They are quality question. They are like the range questions: how good, how bad, how good, how bad. Not yes and no. Right? If you are confused that this feature is non-functional or functional, you ask yourself, can I answer yes or no? Can I explicitly say that I have this feature or I don't? Or it is a question of how well it's performed. If it's a question of yes and no, yes, like yes, I have this feature, or no, I don't have this feature, then it belongs to the functional requirements. Otherwise, it belongs to the non-functional requirements. Or the other thing is, can your system still work without this? Okay, for example, you say that the system has to provide a higher security, measurement. Okay, okay, sound like a functional, but what if I don't have the security measures? Can the system work? Yes, it can. It's just that is it vulnerable? That's all. All right, we learned what the requirements are. How can we collect them? How can we gather the requirements? There are a few techniques. Okay, first interview, questionnaires, workshop, and also I mean these three points here are interactive one. Okay, you are asking people for what they need, how do they work. Okay, you can also review and observe and also do your research as well. So let's have a look at the first one first, the interview. Okay, the interview, quite simple. Just ask people, mainly one to one, okay, or maybe just one of the guy that asks questions and few people answer. Okay, the main objectives of the interview is to understand what they are doing. I mean, they, as in the users and the customer, understand why they are doing what they are doing. Okay, understand how they are doing things and what are the information that they need, okay, to do the jobs, and what kind of information that they produce. Well, first point first, you need to understand, you need to know what they are doing each day. Okay, the stuff in the 7-Eleven, scan in barcode for of products to and then and collect the money or collect the payment, and that's it where the main task, right? um Understand why they're doing that. What they're doing could be type in the prices, type in the product codes, scan in barcodes, and so on, right? But the why they are doing is that they want to make sure that they input the right product. They put at the first they need to input the right the product to the system, okay, and then they want to make sure that it is correct, okay, and how they are doing is the process of conducting the scanning and typing. Okay, what are the steps that they need to do before they scan? What are the steps they need to do to select the payment? Okay, and if there are some changes, for example, the customer pay 1,000 baht and the price of the product is just 900 baht. What do they do next? Okay, what kind of information they need and what kind of information they produce, and what kind of the result they produce. They could have produced the receipt to the customers. All right. The interviewing steps, you need to prepare detailed questions. You need to meet with individuals or group of users that you intend to question, right? Obtain and discuss the answer to the questions, document the answers, follow up as needed in the future meetings or interviews. In here, what I wrote here, let me get me my pen, okay? Well, I would say that these 2 points come together. You need to know what you need to know first. You know what I'm saying? So if you have like 5 people, okay, 5 stakeholders, 5 users, or maybe 5 user and customers. If this the group of people is small, you can just meet them at once. All right, we can set up a meeting like 10 people, 20 people, that's fine. Right? You keep asking one after one, okay, who are you? What are you doing? Okay, that's fine. But sometimes when the project is large, like the project that we do with Mahidol Hospital, they wanted us to interview the entire hospital. I mean, all departments, and that was like 43 departments in total, and it took us like almost a year to discuss with every one of them. All right, but before we go there, before we meet each of the staff in each department, we need to know what we want first. First, we need to do some homework, small homework, like, okay, today we're gonna meet department A. Okay, what are the tasks? Okay, what are the users inside, or what kind of user we expect to see in this department, like a doctor or staff, or this department is financial, so we don't expect to see a doctor, but we expect to see accountant, for example, and then we can prepare the questions accordingly. right? We need to know what to ask before you go ask people, all right? And then you discuss with them, all right? Of course, you need to document the answers too. Well, the way I document the answer, usually write down using my, uh, I used to use pen and paper, but right now just, pen and iPad, right? So because iPad allows me to carry everything around, I don't have to carry books anymore, and I can carry a lot of pages. I can, erase and change the content quite easily. All right, and you can just when once you are with the customers or the user, when you are interviewing people, what you need to focus on is that you need to understand what they are talking about. All right, you understand and you write them down using your own handwriting. Some people do voice recording. I'm okay with that. I don't like doing that because voice recording requires you to come back and revise again. Okay, because you are relying on the recorder. You are not relying on yourself. You don't have to understand immediately. Okay. Good things about voice recorder is that you get everything they say, but you might not understand everything they say. And therefore you're going to waste twice the time coming back home or your office and then read and then listen to the recording again and write it down anyway. So I normally I write it down immediately, right? Make sure that I understand. And if you have some other questions, if the time doesn't permit you to talk further, you can just set up the follow-up meetings. The main idea of interviewing, all right, is that you need to be able to understand what your stakeholders, users, the customer are doing and how they are doing that. And first thing is what to do, but not just that, all right? Okay, you are collecting data. Okay, you are producing this. Okay, you are counting the stock. Okay, that is what. All right. But how you do it, that you need to make sure that they describe the step precisely of what they do. Okay. For example, when every time when we do stock checking, okay, we need to scan the product barcode and then count the number and then compare the number that we can that we have counted with the number on the system. If the product that we have in the stock is more than the system, okay, we need to adjust the number. If it is less than the system, okay, then we have to adjust the number and we need to find out why you have more products than we have less product than in the system. That means that something is missing, right? Maybe it's in other shelf and so on, and something like this. But not just the how. Okay, you ask what, you ask how, you need to ask the why, and this is why I put why in green. You need to make sure that you understand the step. You need to understand why they are doing that. Why, for example, to count the stock, they need to do 5 activities, 5 actions, 5 steps. You need to understand why they need to do 5. Why not 4? Why not 3? Why not 6? Okay? You need to always keep asking, can we not just skip this? Why do we do this? It doesn't make sense. All right? And then, what if this thing breaks? What if you have more products than in the system? What if you have less? Okay, what did you do? The why and what if are very important questions because everybody can tell you what they do, how they do it. All right, but normally, if you stop just this, what and how, you are going to develop the system that handles the step that they explain to you. But most of the times, okay, they don't tell you what the user don't tell you is that what if things go wrong? How do they handle the 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 incident, the issues that they have, like the missing items. All right, if you have more items, you have less items. How do they handle all this? Okay, normally we call this the happy part. It's normal tasks. You do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's done. Right, but there are also what we call a sad part. Something something go wrong, and you need to make sure that you handle the sad ones. All right. Normally, in normal operations, the customer has the way to do this already. Right? You just have to keep asking, keep prying. Right. And sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, when you ask what if, they can't answer you. They didn't thought about that before. They haven't thought about that before, or they just handle manually by erasing data or something like this. Some manual stuff, right? So that happens too. So you need to understand all this, and also what kind of information is required. Okay, in order to do this step, in order to do this step, what are the inputs? Okay, and then after you finish this step, what are the outputs? Okay, you need to also make sure that you understand every one of them, and sometimes not just the output of the entire process, but the output of the input and output of each step as well. Okay, all the users, they have goals or need. Okay, and they want a computer system that help meet that goal. The system requirements are the system capabilities that help achieving the goals. All right. Let me use an example, and we can and it is this also related to the why question we asked earlier in the previous slide. Okay, a cashier operators must scan product barcode to put the product into the checkout list. Right? So the goal is to get the barcode into the system. All right. You might end up having a use case scan barcode, which is fine. Okay, I mean, this is what 7-Eleven do, right? Just all the stores, you scan barcode, the product shows up in the system, and then when you say, okay, that's all I wanna buy, you just execute the payment actions, right? The payment workflow. Now, here's the thing. What you need as the system analyst, as a business analyst, okay, as a developer, you know better than your customer. Remember this, you always know better. You should ask them, why scan barcode? Can you type? They say, yeah, okay, I can type. Sometimes when barcode is missing, or the code is broken, or maybe the barcode scanner is broken, we just have to type. Yeah, okay, type too, right? And how about RFID or some other technologies that you can just do image processing, or some kind of other kind of sensors that you don't have to scan. Scan barcode is taking too much time, right? You need to find where the barcode is. You need to move your hand, point the barcode gun into the barcode itself. Yeah, okay, I guess we can improve upon that too. All right. So the thing is, if you take it as is, the user say, I have to scan barcode to put the product into the checkout list, and you end up having this use case scan barcode, and you could be done, and there's nothing wrong with that. But what you're gonna end up having is that you could risk you are risking repeating user routine, or RUR. Okay, what it means is what the user is doing, what the users are doing right now might not be optimal. They might have done this because they don't have better technology. All right, you don't have to repeat that. And I cannot give you example right now, okay? But there are many scenarios that the users are doing this, not because they want to do, but because the tools they are using is limited. Sometimes they are bound by regulations, or maybe because they have done that for a long time, okay? It's kind of counter how they do it, okay? And you don't have to repeat those steps. You just have to find, okay, why they are doing that, why they are doing those precise steps that they are doing, and find them better solutions. Ask them, is there any logical reason why they're doing that? What prevents you from doing something better? Okay, sometimes they have reasons, sometimes they just like, because this is how we do it. This is your job then to find better solutions for them. So instead of just asking, what are you doing? Okay, how do you do it? You also need to ask, why do you do it? Why don't you do that? What if I do this instead? try to understand why the user do things they do, okay? Then try to find better way to do it. Remember, you have better tools, you have better eyes than them. And apart from the interviews, you can also use questionnaires. Questionnaire is a set of questions, right, that are distributed to the users or stakeholders. It is a good way to ask a lot of people at once, because you just get them, questions, and they should answer. And the easiest and one of the most popular way to do it is Google Form. All right, we do it all the time, and it works. Okay, in some scenarios, and some scenarios is not. They do not. But let's just discuss the question first. The questions in questionnaires can be open-ended or closed-ended. Open-ended questions are the one that have specific answers. Okay, the user can just write down comments, suggestions, fill in the blanks, just write down the ideas. You can just ask them to write down the process. How do you do that? What do you think about this? Okay, if we have this system in place, what is your opinion? Well, you can ask and you can hope for perfect answers, but in general, they are not really effective if you ask a lot of people open-ended like this, because you cannot rely on the quality of the answers. Okay, you can't just assume that everybody gonna answer in detail. You cannot assume that everybody will answer the way that it's understandable, all right, or in the aspect or the perspective that you expect them to answer. Right. Closed-ended questions, on the other hand, are the questions that require specific facts to conform to specific details. You have choices, you have multiple choices, you have true, false, you have selected item, drop-down list, or something like this. They have to select one. In that case, you can get more concise and precise answer. You can also study the statistics also better. But I'm not sure it is good for requirements collection. All right. If you want to ask the users, do you like this UI or not? Do you like the UI compared to the other kind of UI? Then questionnaire makes sense, right? But if you want to ask them how you work, right? I don't think even close end would work, right? Because it's too specific, too narrow, and open end might not work as well, because you can't really rely on how the user would answer. What if we don't use questionnaires? What kind of techniques do we have to ask questions, all right, to collect the requirements? We can do workshops. One of my favorites, right? You gather all the stakeholders and figure out everyone's goals together. All right. So basically, you are conducting large workshop, maybe 20, 30 people or even more. Okay, you can divide them into groups if you like, and then let them brainstorm. Okay, and come up with the set of requirements or set of constraints, set of goals. The questions could be similar to those in the interview, but everyone can discuss and share opinion all at once. All right, you can just ask, what do you do? Okay, when maybe a lot of people in the entire department or even across departments can discuss together. And in this way, it's good in the sense that a lot of people can discuss how do you do that? Oh, I didn't know we can do this, and so on. Sometimes when the user disagree or are not sure what the step should be, all right, or what the requirements should be, they can discuss right away. And sometimes they have conflicting requirements, some conflicting constraints. They can just settle right away. There are many ways to conduct workshop though, but we're not gonna get deep into that right now. Next one is to observe. Okay, to observe and document the process. Basically, what it is that you don't have to ask. You just watch and you learn. You just go to the job and see how the users, how the customer, how the stakeholders are doing that. Just observe. And sometimes you observe and you can ask, okay, why are you doing this like that? Why you type this? Why do you input something like this? All right. I like to go to customers' workplace, all right, because I can see what they do. And sometimes they have some demo session, or walk around the factory, walk around the workspaces, and okay, we have to do this, and then going to go to next stage and next stage, and then you keep collecting the requirement. You're collecting what are the inputs of each stage, what are the outputs of each stage. Okay, so and when you are done, you can document what you learn with activity diagram. Okay, so you observe. Okay, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can use activity diagram to record them. We're gonna talk about that when we discuss activity diagram later. Okay. And another thing is that you can research vendor solutions. So basically, you don't watch and learn what your user is doing. You watch what your competitors are doing. Just get some inspiration, not copy, okay, but see how they do, and then see either they have the idea or some ideas that you can adapt into the solution as well. You can just look at their white papers, the literatures, okay, and maybe even manuals or video on YouTube how other solutions work, right? And you can collect active user comments and suggestions. If you have running system, it could be from previous developers or could be your own system. All right. Once the system are deployed, you need to get feedback from the users too. Either you are in the development phase or the software already released. Okay, you always have to collect feedback in order to improve upon those feedbacks. Okay, feedback sometimes good, sometimes bad, but that's fine. Right? If especially bad feedback, you need to close those issues. Now here's some challenges in the elicitation process. Okay, finding all requirements, that's your challenge. But I'm telling you, it's impossible. Just cover essential ones. All right, focus on the main ones. You cannot collect everything. No one can. If you think you finish, if you think you collect everything, if you think you know everything about the application domain and solution domain, I'm telling you this, you're wrong. Okay, things change all the time, and there are gonna be some sad part or some other issues, some exceptions, some constraints that nobody have talked about that. Okay, sometimes nobody knows until you just find that out later when you release or during the test process. Finding all requirements already. So you have a list of requirements and you want to sort them. Okay, which one should I do first? Also impossible. They change all the time. Okay, that happens all the time. Like today you want feature 1, 2, 3. Tomorrow you want feature 2. First feature 1 are not important anymore. Right? That happens too. So I would just rank them, okay, initially, and then don't think much about them. Right? What you need to care of is that those priorities, those features that you have will be changed later. Memorizing or recording requirements, you understand them. Your clients understand them. Your team understand them. You cover all possible situations. All right. This is actually more important than finding all requirements. But for all requirements that you already have, make sure that you understand them. Repeat this to your client in your own words. Okay, I understand it like this. Am I right? Okay, and make sure that when you convey this information to your team, okay, you make sure that they understand. And you cover all possible situations, like you cover all sad part, you cover all happy parts. Okay, you cover all what if. Right? Well, I can't give you right now. Okay, how can you make sure that your client and your team understand what you meant? But I can tell you one guideline right here. When you write something down in your document, every time you write down, if you want to make sure this is clear and clean, you always use subject, verb, and object. Okay, don't miss any of that. A lot of people were like, can do this, do that, do that, do that. Right? It is unclear. Make sure that you write everything down. What can be done by whom, or let's put it this way, what kind of user can do what to which object. Okay, that's what you write down, and then make the language quite clear and no ambiguity. Okay, and that is how you should record your requirements. Okay, record your findings. Lastly, you cannot just gather all requirements and be done with them. What it means is that you cannot just collect requirements, and once it is signed off, once a customer accepts this, you cannot freeze them. All right, you cannot forget about it. You can just say, okay, we're gonna use this set of requirements. But no, because things change it all the time. You release a software, you release a test version, you release beta version, right? You get feedback, and the user will like, yeah, we don't need this, man. I don't think this works, and you need to add something into requirement. You need to take something out from your requirement list, right? And you need to keep changing, updating, managing all the time. Everything is always dynamic. Everything is in flux when we talk about requirements, right? Change. Well, we have discussed quite a few topics today. Okay, we talked about planning, and we talked about requirements and the decision process. We talked about the interview process, right? And well, I hope you enjoyed the session, and thanks a lot for joining me today. Okay, take care.